Hi everyone, and I haven't made a video for quite a while. I'm going to make this quite short. I just wanted to check in and say hello to anyone who makes the time to listen to this. I just did a beautiful session this morning. Some of you who have been reading my posts for it, whether it's been a week, a month, a year, or for some people that have been with me since the beginning, because I've been doing this consciously for a long, long time. Many lifetimes, but consciously for about 20 plus years in this lifetime. Readings, healings, therapies. And there's been many times that I've needed to step back and just work on my own journey. Or with every initiation and every upgrade, we will all have to find new ways of being. Every time our own personal frequency and our harmonic resonance changes, who we interact with and our mission here and everything about us will change. And it's not always an easy process. I've found that I had to let a lot go, and there was a lot of people who had been in my life for years disappeared. Some with an explanation and some not, and not just Facebook unfriendings, which, to be honest, I've had to learn not to get to me, because we play this game of ego and drama and competition and she said that and he did this, and it becomes it's very infantile, and I've you know engaged in that at times as well. And I think that you step into a point of spiritual maturity that even looking at your own triggers, and that's ultimately it. We can be affected by other people, but ultimately we have to take responsibility for ourselves, our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, our reactions, what we do and what we don't do. So I find it's a minute to minute and day by day and week by week process, but the only powerful moment we really have is the now. So just briefly going back to the session this morning, I've said for years I don't give too much away about any of my work. I can be light-hearted online, but what I do with other people and how I help them, it's unique. And yes, there's some testimonials out there, and there may be people listening who have come to me. But I have discovered is also over all of these years that it's a very, not just sacred, it's a very private thing. Not everybody wants the world to know they've been for a reading or a healing or they need help with trauma. Some people are very transparent, they're very open about their journeys. And I've said before, I can come across as light-hearted online because I don't like the whole world knowing my every step and, my every thought and every feeling. I know some days it might feel like that because there's days I'll be on a little bit of a roll and feel like I want to share my thoughts, feelings, opinions, or express something. And I always state, maybe not in every post, but the intention is I am here to help and I'm to guide, but I'm not here to tell you what to do. And like the session this morning with a lovely woman, it came to me. There was so much information. I'm trying to just make sure I don't say too much. But when someone asks, can I take notes? And I'm like, maybe you don't need to. Maybe you just want to be present. Maybe you just want to listen. You don't always need to take notes. But then often, and I know a lot of people like this, that's why years ago it was so long ago, people used to bring a cassette tape and I had a little tape recorder and they would record their readings because they wanted to listen back, whether it was 6 months, a year, even when they got home, they wanted to remind themselves of what was said. And the notes as well, sometimes you're maybe not, in a way it's good because if someone's taking notes, their head's down, they're scribbling away, I'm having to continue talking without any feedback or without any nods. So like with the distant sessions, I find that when I can go in the flow, I just pass on every thought, every feeling, every vision. There was a lot coming in, about a lot of stuff in her personal life, which I can't go into. But I just wanted to say that for anybody who's been reading my posts, we have, and I'm sure many of you already know this, we've gone through the most amazing shifts, and there are days that I've felt really tired. But I don't see that in a victim way. It's in a way where my body and my mind and everything is saying, take it slower, rest a bit more. We've stepped out of this linear timeline, this sort of lower timeline, where for years it was very much about booking people in at a certain time and working a certain way and people having set expectations. Now, for me to change it up, I needed to have that gap, because if people kept coming to me and I said to them, how I work and how things are is changing, and they came in quite soon after the last time they'd been to me, shall we say, they would have stronger expectations that it still would work the way it did before. Like I would still get mediumship in the same way. Now I don't. I feel like now I'm connecting to, we could say, your I am presence, your soul, the bigger picture. Often we've been here more than one lifetime, and our loved ones have too. And the dynamics that comes in, sometimes the story we're focusing on is very much just this one story playing out in this one timeline, in this one fixed point in time and space. And over the last few years, how I get shown images, it is a very quantum or multidimensional structure. So it's not just one, point of, here's where you're at now, here's what the future looks like, and that's it. There are so many variables which can be affected by many things. And that variables, there is, of course, the universal laws, but there's many variables that we know that can be distorted and infiltrated by lower frequencies that are not always coming from you. So some of it may be, you may have your own shadow and your own stuff, we'll just say, to look at. But there has been so much of the outside influences being bombarded into people, and the fear, the propaganda, the control mechanisms, and complete confusion. And even after doing that session, it lasted at least 2 hours this morning, I was sitting contemplating everything again. And even with I've mentioned before, the truther community, the spiritual community, I also believe that, and it could be something I said in the past that I may question now. We have been molded, is the word I'm getting, into different, not just boxes, because they're not showing me boxes. It's almost like they're showing me plasticine or Play-Doh, and they were created or molded. If you imagine the etheric realm, the ether, like a plasmic field, and everything is energy and everything is molded into a specific geometric pattern or a structure, where ether becomes matter, it becomes a physical form. And the way in which we interact with that quantum structures and the energetic field has changed so much, even for me. That's why when I find, if I try to type out everything that I sense, it could be very difficult to put into words. And I know there's other people feel like that. They know, sense, see, and they can just tap into a lot more than the English language will allow them to express. There are those who talk light language. It's like speaking in tongues and making sounds and tones, because of course sound healing is very valuable. One of the most valuable things, as you know by me, I go into nature a lot, is actually just being out in nature. So yeah, we can play healing music and go to sound baths, which will all help. But the harmonic resonance of the birds and the trees and the water and just the organic blueprint, that organic template of, Terra, Gaia, Mother Earth, whatever term we want to use. I often find that, even for me, I tend to speak in quite plain language most of the time, although I can channel, higher dimensional words, but it just confuses a lot of people. So that's why I like to keep it real. I've had people come to me for the last 20 years because they know that I am tapped in and tuned into what we would call higher dimensional realms, or realms is the word they're giving me. I wanted to say it's not dimensions. There's different, we'll go with the realms just now. There's different vibrational frequencies that form different realities. And again, I don't want to try and limit it in words, so I'm just going to have to get, again, I can't talk for too long in here, I just was guided to like keep it under 15 minutes if possible. So I'll take it back to plain and simple. My son's away back down the road now, and those of you who see what Robbie's up to, he's doing fantastic. And I'm the mum that keeps him going in the background. So, even just things like, helping him choose what colour of tie to wear and getting him dressed and helping him get ready. And, that's my biggest, most heart-opening journey, as being Robbie's mum. But everything else I've done for the last 20 years and the people I've helped, it's all held so much in my heart. And there has been times that I've, released my anger out there, but the anger's not at any individual. The anger's at the system. Call it I don't know, want to use some words that might get me censored, so you know what I mean. I call it the bad guys, but there's a lot of bad women as well. So those who are not promoting what we would ultimately want, and that is peace for everybody. So yeah, I'm back doing some sessions. I'm not going to push myself. I spent a lot of years just jumping to answer. Even last night, there was someone that messaged it, 10 to 10. I was getting ready for my bed. A client or somebody I didn't know, and it was one of these messages where they went, do you still do readings? But they don't put a name and there's no warmth to it. And I'll be honest, I can tell sometimes by the message if it's someone who's looking for a very fortune teller type reading, or if it's someone who is open to it receiving from their soul, or their monadic self, their I am, their all that is, the much, much bigger them. I find that I'm working on that much, much bigger level now. And that's not to take away from, our relationships or money worries. Trust me, I have all of them as well at times. It's not to take away from the day-to-day life that we have, but the way that we shift this collective, and I've been given it so strongly today, is not to focus on the old, or the lack, or the struggle, or the drama. And I have to remind myself when I go to dip into it, when there's little challenges come in, the way we focus on this is to stay in our hearts, but not by spiritually bypassing or being ignorant or, pretending we don't see. I'd said that to someone earlier on, that, it's okay to say stay calm and stay neutral. But when you know what's been happening with children and babies, and it's natural to feel angry. It's natural to want to express emotions. So allow yourself to do that, but don't stay stuck in it. There's a lot of, truth warriors and truth speakers that are doing fantastic jobs. But some people, and I see this, I've been in groups where, and I still am to be honest, I'm in groups where it's gone a bit too truther-like. It's too only focusing on the intel and the next intel drop. And very little in it about self-mastery and our own energy and looking after ourselves, because ultimately, and I learned that over the years, the times I put everybody else before me did not end well. So now I put myself first, and I make absolutely no apologies for that. I know that there's a lot of people would, I keep meaning to meet up with a lot of friends, and, a friend I met with last week, I hadn't seen her for over 2 years. So I know when I do say to people that, I want to meet up for a coffee or a walk, or maybe not a coffee, maybe something healthier, whatever, I mean that from the heart in that moment. But often the energies have not allowed me to, I can't find more hours in a day. I haven't got the energy to do what I need to do with my family and myself and clients, then go and meet up with everybody. So it might take longer to see people, But like when I met with my friend Amy last week, that's true friendship. It's not having seen each other for such a long time. And she only lives in Banchory. And some of you may know her. And she's also a very, very private person. But it just feels like yesterday, and we're so connected and so close. And I love her so much. So and anybody who really knows me knows that, yeah, it might be a few months and we don't see each other, but we love each other, we care for each other, and I'm here if you need me. I can't always be, I know I'm multidimensional, but physically in this dimension, I can't be, as I'm going to say, right, I can't be in more than one place at once. I'm hearing, yes, you are, but that is because if you imagine a hologram and you can split that hologram into many different pieces. I do this with my energy and my healing work. I can send aspects of my consciousness to other people in other countries and other places and still get on with my housework here. And yeah, there's so much I could say. Some of you already know this, but there's times where I've seen my life on a spaceship or another dimension, and I can see it playing out in a parallel timeline to the one I'm on. So I am very much aware of my consciousness in more than one place. So yeah, I got at 16 minutes already. I'll put this on YouTube and probably share it onto Facebook. And I've said it before, I keep meaning to make more videos or write more blogs, but I found that just when I get that pull, maybe speaking's better than writing it for me, so because it takes me too long to type. And I haven't put my face in this video simply because little Timmy's here. He's been to the vet twice recently. I won't go too much into it. He's still not 100%, but he is 12 or 13, I forget. So he actually sat beside me when I was doing I'm using inverted, quote marks, even though you can't see me. I wanted to say a reading earlier, and Timmy was helping, and he was sitting in that energy. So even, trusting that I could still tune in and work, and if people don't mind Timmy being there, it's fine. So yeah, the reason, I got dressed earlier on, but I went and chucked on my comfy hoodie and been chilling out for the last couple of hours. So you don't always need to see me. But those who feel my energy and feel my love and to feel the shifts in me over the years, well, no. So I'll finish it there, and once I get this uploaded, hopefully someone will listen. Thank you.